What's up YouTube? Dougie Chong here. Welcome to today's episode where I'll be reviewing the stock of one of the biggest airlines in Canada, Air Canada. So let's quickly go over the business model of Air Canada. I think it's pretty straightforward, but they make money from flying people from point A to point B. It's no secret that flying has really taken off over the years because people are traveling more than they ever have before. This is because technology has lowered the price of airfare, as well as people are more comfortable with going to different countries. Now, of course, with the whole situation going on in the world, all the revenues have been significantly cut. But let's just say in normal times, Air Canada makes a lot of money. I try to stress the importance of brand recognition on this channel, and when it comes to booking flights in Canada, the main two players are Air Canada and WestJet. These are the two airlines that I usually check when I go to book a flight. And having Canada in its name certainly helps its brand. It invokes a certain sense of patriotism, and a lot of people just naturally gravitate towards the Air Canada brand and their Canada logo. I'll note that for me personally, the last few trips I've booked on WestJet because they were cheaper than Air Canada. And this is typically what I find, that Air Canada charges a certain premium, but when it comes to booking for work purposes, my business usually goes through Air Canada, so I have taken flights on Air Canada before. This leads me to think that WestJet is more for average folks and Air Canada is more geared towards business people. Now, I didn't really look into the numbers for this, but this is what I have observed. Now, it's important to note that there are some other budget airlines that have recently been popping up. I think things like Swoop and Flair that offer ridiculously low airplane prices. Like, I'm talking seriously cheap. A friend of mine got a ticket from Toronto to Vancouver for about $300 both ways. I booked a ticket for about $550 both ways on WestJet. I thought I had a deal, but $300, that is much better. I personally have not used one of these budget airlines because I don't fly that much, and I feel much more comfortable using a company that I've used before. There's also horror stories, like I think there was a company called WOW Airlines that promised really cheap flights to Iceland, and they ended up stranding a lot of people there. Alright, so now we've established that Air Canada has a good brand and they make a lot of money in normal circumstances. Now let's look at the stock price. The stock currently trades at $16.75, which is down tremendously from its all-time high of about $51. It's important to note that in as little as 1 year ago, it was only trading at around $20, so it did do a substantial leap to get to that $51. So some of this downtrend is partly just correcting for an overinflation in the price. And if we go back to 5 years ago, it was only about $10. And if we look at the last recession, it went from about $20 to down to about 84 cents. So the dip that we've taken now is nowhere near as large as the dip from the last recession. That leads me to think that we are not quite at the bottom yet. So why has the stock been climbing to unfathomable heights in recent years? Well, one, they've been profitable in the last few years, but also they've been going into a lot of debt. Now, I'm not going to be going into the balance sheet in this video, but trust me, they have a lot of debt, and a lot of it was used to buy back stock. What this means is the CEO decides to just take their earnings and then buy some of their shares back from the shareholders. This means there are less shares out there for shareholders to buy and causes the price to go up. Now, why would the CEO do this? Well, it's because their compensation is usually directly related to the stock price. So instead of investing back into the company, they can just buy back shares and artificially boost the price of the stock. It's actually pretty smart of the CEOs. I don't blame them for doing it, but it really leaves them in a tough situation when they need cash now. So what are the odds of Air Canada going bankrupt? Well, I'd say it's pretty low because of a lot of what Trudeau is saying is that he's willing to bail out a lot of these companies. By bailing out, I mean he's willing to provide grants and loans to these businesses. I don't really like this because it encourages these CEOs to just go deep into debt and then not have to worry about any of the consequences because the government will just bail them out. Another thing I'd like to mention about Air Canada is that they have a very powerful loyalty program. known as Aeroplan Points. Now, Aeroplan Points can be a whole video in itself. Leave it in the comments below if you want to see me make a video on Aeroplan Points. But basically, it allows you to collect Aeroplan Points whenever you buy a plane ticket using Air Canada. And then you can use these points for a plane ticket, again, using Air Canada. This makes it so that when you book a plane ticket, you almost always want to use Air Canada. But a lot of airlines have these sort of loyalty points. I think WestJet has like WestJet dollars, and other airlines have their own point system. The true power of Aeroplan Points is that they teamed up with a lot of credit cards like TD and Visa and even American Express, so that when you use these credit cards, you can collect Aeroplan Points. Another important feature of Aeroplan Points is that you can donate and kind of give them to other people. They are transferable points. This is very different from most other point systems. But for all the good parts of Aeroplan, I'm going to tell you the problems that I personally have experienced using Aeroplan. The main pain point I had with Aeroplan was that their customer service is absolutely terrible. So I first made my account when I was pretty young, maybe 18, 19, and I completely forgot the password, and there was no way to reset it using that typical forgot your password, try to reset it, didn't work. So I tried to call customer care. Their number, you pretty much can't reach them. I think they even took it off now. They're online only. It's impossible to reach them, really. So then I tried to make a new account, but it kind of links your name, your date of birth, and your address to your account. So I couldn't make another one, which is kind of understandable so that you don't make more than one account, but it was really frustrating at this point. I was eventually able to message Aeroplan through Facebook chat, which is crazy. They wouldn't even respond to emails, but somehow using Facebook Messenger, they were able to reset my account. I'll note that one of my friends tried to do this too after I did, and they were unable to do so. So now I do have my account all clear, but I'll also note that I have not redeemed any of my points yet, so I don't know how smooth that transition is either. I'll also note that points expire in about 1.5 years, I think, so make sure to use them or redeem. Don't have an inactive account. I'll also add that I did buy a few shares of Air Canada stock at around $18 not too long ago. I was not able to purchase them on the simulated account because I am not able to purchase Canadian stocks on the Thinkorswim platform. I really thought I would be able to, but I guess I can't. I initially started this channel with the idea of doing niche Canadian stocks, but I guess here we are reviewing mostly American stocks. If you are American, a stock that is fairly similar to Air Canada would be like American Airlines or Delta Airlines. I kind of bought Boeing as a sort of analogy in my simulated account, but it's really kind of different. And I will be looking to buy more shares if it can come down a bit, maybe back to that $13, $14 range. I don't think we're at the bottom yet. So in conclusion, I think Air Canada is an excellent stock to buy because they have great brand recognition and they make a lot of money in normal circumstances. Of course, now is not exactly normal times. They have a strong chance of getting a government bailout because they provide a lot of jobs to Canadians, and Trudeau seems to be willing to spend the money. And thirdly, they have one of the best loyalty programs there are in Aeroplan Points. As always, this is just my opinion. I am not a licensed financial advisor. Please do your own financial research. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you learned a lot about Air Canada stock. Leave a like if this video helped you at all. Leave a comment if you have anything you want to say. Please subscribe if you have not already. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And as always, see you in the next video.